Hello everyone, welcome back to Tinateach Python. Today we'll be learning about looping lists, specifically for loops, the range and length methods that we've seen before, and an introduction to while loop. Looping through a list. Now this is the syntax for a for loop. You have for, in, and then the action that Python would take down here. Now, let's go through it from top to bottom. I have a list over here of fruit, kiwi, melon, and avocado. For x in fruit, print x. Now, what will this do? What it does is that it prints every element on a new line like that. So kiwi would be up here, melon would be down here, and lastly is avocado. Now, I want to tell you that you don't have to go with X, right? X is simply a placeholder. You can literally put any character, any name that you want. It doesn't have to be X. Down here, we have another for loop, but this time we're using the method range and length. This is an alternative to printing lists with loop, and as we've put X down here, we do the same with I down here. Now I want to reiterate, it doesn't have to be I, it doesn't have to be X, it could just be anything else. Next is while loop. I have a list with bike, bus, and car. Now we're setting I to 0. It's the same with X and I over here. It serves the same purpose, it's the same thing. Once again, it doesn't have to have this name. While I is less than the length of transportation, what do you think the length of transportation is? It is 3. 1, 2, and 3. While I is less than the length of transportation, print I. But after Python prints I, add 1. Now, what does this mean? It may seem very complicated, but it is absolutely not. We set I equals to 0. That corresponds to the first index number, which is 0. While I is less than the length of transportation, or I is less than 3, print transportation with the index number, okay? So first, obviously, it would print 0 because I is at 0. And after it prints the index 0, it adds 0 to 1. So what's 0 to 1? That is 1. So it would print index number 1. And after it prints number 1 up here, it goes down here and it adds 1 more time. So 1 plus 1 is 2. And then it prints index 2. Then Python, just a minute, and then Python goes up here again. It prints index number 2, all right? And then 2 is added to 1. What's 2 with 1? That is 3. But now I becomes 3, and it is no longer less than the length of transportation, which is 3. It would be I equals 3 as opposed to I less than 3. Therefore, while loop stops printing. So you just have bike, bus, car. That's it. List comprehension. Now this is just a brief introduction to list comprehension. We'll dive deeper into the next lesson. Once again, transportation list, and this is simply a shorthand for a for loop. That's what list comprehension is. It's a shorthand, it's a shortcut to a lot of these methods about printing that you've seen previously, right? And the syntax goes print x for x in transportation, bike, bus, and car. Let's have a list over here. Fruit equals to kiwi, melon, avocado. And then let's have a shorthand for loop, print. Instead of using X, I'm going to use output. For output in fruit. Transportation. Bike, bus, and car. For output in transportation, As you can see, the name doesn't matter. I can reuse the name. Output, transportation, print, outputs. Food equals to rice, pasta, and noodles. For outputs in range, length of food, print, food, outputs. Okay, that's the placeholder for the index right here. You're just printing out index. Drinks equals to lemonade, milkshake, and milk. Output default index is 0, while output is less than the length of drinks, which is 3. Print the index of drinks with output as the placeholder, my bad, and increment output by 1 every time it prints. If you remember what we've had in the previous lesson, instead of writing output equals output plus 1, we can have a shorthand. Running it, first we have the list comprehension shorthand, kiwi, melon, avocado. Kiwi, melon, avocado. Next up is transportation with a simple for loop, bike, bus, and car. Bike, bus, and car. Next up is food with rice, pasta, and noodle. Now we're using the range and the length method for our classic for loop. And we have rice, pasta, and noodle. Last but not least, our drinks list, right, with lemonade, milkshake, and milk, where we set the default value of output equals to 0, which corresponds to index 0 of the list, while output is less than the length of drinks, which is 3. Print drinks with the corresponding index, but after it prints, increment output by 1. So we can go 0, 1, 2, 2. And it prints down here, lemonade, milkshake, and milk. That's it for today's lesson. Our next topic is going to be a deeper dive into list comprehension. So thank you for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and learn today, better tomorrow. Goodbye.